Good afternoon, good morning, wherever you're from. Spooky and work phone, how's it going? Just wait for some more people to come through. Hey, Mike C, what's happening, man? Abhishek, how are you, dude? Shade Focus Logistics, how's it going? Let's see, just making sure my Discord audio channel is working correctly. My little icon should be coming up here, but it's not currently doing that. So let me fix that. Might be because of this NVIDIA broadcast thingamabob. Oh yeah, and I have to change it to open mic voice activity. There we go. All right. So, got about 14 people in. Let's just get started. That's all good. Now, let's start on the higher time frame. I'll turn this music down just a smidge. Go. All right, so we've got the all-time high, the second macro high from the bounce, and then we are now testing the trend line that those two pivots created. And at this point in time, we have broken through it. We've got an hour and 53 minutes left. It's going to be awesome if we're able to close this day outside of this line, like above this yellow descending line. This is a great start for the bulls. Like, if we can maintain some kind of support, especially above this blue line, we're back on track to trend back up to the previous all-time high before the end of the year. So let's see that. Let's get it. Hopefully we don't get rejected by like a double top. Hopefully we don't just, tag this level and get a violent rejection off it. We don't want to see that. Continued growth up is what we're after. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at for Bitcoin. We've got above all of the Fibonacci levels. So I'll show you what I mean by that. So we've got all of these levels on the climb back up. We've broken through them all. Go back to the 1 hour chart. So here was challenge 1, getting above the 236. There was a lot of sort of price magnetization in this area. Like, it was spending time trying to figure out if we're going to go up or down here. So, we came up and tested the 382 once, almost twice. That lower high was a bit concerning, We were starting to create like a bit of a bear pennant where you would bounce around and then fall down again. However, breaking this descending or this falling wedge is what really shot it up through that resistance of the 382 fib level. The 0.5 was not a problem. It just shot straight through that without a problem. The only hurdle we sort of ran into was the golden pocket, which exists between the 0.618 and the 0.65 Fibonacci levels. So this aqua and orange line that I have here. So you can see there's a lot of traffic through here, a lot of it gets stuck basically. Once we blasted through that, the next test was the 786, which is not as strong as the golden level. This is the one to beat. Whenever you're trending back to a point after dipping to get your fib retracement to that point, of all of these Fibonacci levels, this golden pocket is the one to pay attention to, this between the 0.65 and the 0.618. So yeah, got through that. The 786, yeah, it showed a bit of a fight. There was a little bit of people being cautious. Not to mention it falls exactly on 50,000 in this case. So that was another key level to get past. It was a big psychological level. And then of course we're dealt with the yellow line, which is the big old trend line, and we've gone well beyond 50,600, which is what I was calling for as being the resistance yesterday. So smashed through it without a problem. So now we're looking to see if we can maintain the height, see if we can maintain any kind of footing above 50k. I'm just gonna have a sip of coffee, one sec. Hey, Honest AF, how are you doing? Honest as fuck. Alright, so the last challenge is to get to this point and at least test it. If not, smash through it and find support higher, because that would put us on our way to making a higher high. Higher high and higher low. So let me jump out to the daily chart and I'll really describe what I'm talking about. We don't really need this fib anymore because we've gotten through all the levels. So I'm just going to delete that just to make it clean. Because we don't want to bog ourselves down with too much detail or information on the chart. I'm actually going to go full screen here. Get rid of the oscillators for now. So let's see. Yeah, once we get above this point, we've already made a higher low. This was the first low. This was the second low here. So low 1, low 2, higher low. That's exactly what we want. Now we want a higher high. So we want to get, maybe we want to get up to all-time high and beyond. That would mean like the next wave would put us in for a good Elliott wave count. Now let's do something that I haven't done. Let's do a fib extension, a trend-based Fibonacci extension, and see where that puts us, because it's going to be starting here, going to the high, and then the first pullback here. Now, where do we start running into traffic with that? Let me lock that away. All right, so currently we're fighting this 0.5 fib extension. These are the extension targets, thanks to this trend here. So a 1-to-1 fib extension would be here, 63,242. That puts us just underneath the all-time high. We could actually shoot for the 1618, which is $77,852. But first, let's deal with these fib levels that we got in our way. So there's 3 major fib extension points to get through, not to mention the lines of resistance that we've had in the past to deal with. We need to get past those. 60,000 is a pretty crucial level at this point in time for Bitcoin. So we've only spent a little bit of time above it in the past, over here and here. So not long, probably about 7 or 8 days. Now, with the oscillators, let's check what they're saying, because they sometimes have a bit of a clue. as to what's happening. So on the daily chart, everything has room to move up. There's no sign of any divergence. The RSI has not gone overbought yet. It's very much only just left the, the median or the neutral zone, which is 50. So there's so much room to go with the RSI. Cypher B has only just started a momentum wave climbing. So that's so much room to climb up. We're not dealing with any kind of bearish divergence, which is like this. So these sell signals here were thanks to this bearish divergence on the daily MACD, and we've dealt with that. We've done that pullback. We've paid our dues, so to speak. So you can see that through all of this downtrend here. What was I going to call it? Not devaluing. Downturn? Anyway, there was a word that I was looking for, but I just can't find it. Good morning, Eddie. How's it going? Vinny's in the chat. What's happening? He says, hey, Rick, wish we had a 24/7 crew running the show when you're not available so I can live in here. I like Tame's chat for that reason, but think you could do it if you wanted to. Well, I would love to have a 24/7 chat, voice chat in here, but when I stop streaming, like when I stop talking or when I leave the stream, everyone just jumps to a different Discord, so no one sticks around to talk in Crypto Down Under. But maybe it's just a matter of time. Maybe it will happen eventually. I just have to be consistently showing up into the channel every day for it to happen. There is a bunch of people in here, but yeah, I'm guessing they're just listening to the analysis for now, and that's cool. So guys, don't be afraid to stick around and have a chat once I've gotten through some of these charts for the morning. So, and by the way, there's a link to the Discord at the top of the chat, the YouTube chat here. So feel free to join that. You don't have to pay anything to get in, and yeah, there's voice channels, text channels, there's links to really helpful YouTube tutorials and videos. Yeah, so come on in. Tyson Firth, good morning. How's it going? What are you saying here? September's calling it bear market in the coming week. Would love to see your TA. Yeah. So a bear market in the coming week. Okay. That is possible. I mean, if we see a sharp rejection, if we see a sharp rejection at, he says 52. Okay. It's possible. Very possible. I mean, so popping above this yellow line I was saying was a critical thing, and it is. Like, it's step one of getting back up to the all-time high, right? Or going back to a bull market. However, this could still be a fake out, Just like Tame has said, it could be like a bull trap. So just because it got above this trend line, I'm sure a lot of people gained confidence to take long positions above it, because it's like, oh, okay, we've broken resistance, now we're heading up. So you just have to be super cautious that, the market makers just don't just flash dump the market out. There's, what is it, an hour and 40 minutes until the daily candle? Yeah, an hour and 41 minutes until we get a new daily candle. I'm really hoping that we can hold this price appreciation, above $51,000 at least, and if not above 50, to continue and see another solid day for Bitcoin for the coming candle, the coming daily candle. So we'll see how we go. We just have to wait and see. So I'm actually. Well, I'm not surprised. Well, I guess I am kind of surprised that it's been able to punch through. Like, it didn't really bounce backward off that trend. So it's awesome to see it has punched through and made some headway and traveling up at the moment. But Yeah, just be careful of those dumps and have your stop losses in place, because that'll keep you out of trouble. Ooh, a super chat. So, Tuggy Pepper donated $5, so thank you. He says, we appreciate you, Rick. Thank you for your fantastic TA and patience. You got a great knack for teaching. Much love, my friend. God bless. Thank you so much, dude. You're a loyal member of Crypto Down Under, so, and you've consistently showed up over the past few months, so I appreciate this support. Thank you. All right. So we've done the rising wedge, the falling wedge. Now what? Like, where to from here, kind of thing. Let's check if there's, like, all right. There could be, hate to say it, some kind of a rising wedge formation happening right now as well. So we've got a bit of this action happening where we've got, let me just draw it in red because it is a threatening, like, bear pattern. We don't want it to be, but that's what it's kind of looking like at the moment.
Hey, Rick, if we can hit that previous high, how you doing, Asogi? If we can hit that previous high that we had at the 52,966, if we can hit that and say today or tomorrow, and then hold that for a day or so, do you think we might be off the races without some sort of outside interference?
Well, yeah, that's right. I don't see the reason for them to drive it all this high if they're just going to stall, like, crash the market out. Like, they could make so much more money if they just let it rise, natural, rather than dump on people. Like, Anyway, I guess it's up to them to see if they can, like, flush as much money out of the retail sector as possible, like the retail market as possible, because retail leverage trade for the most part. Like, they don't have the big money, so they have to leverage up to those sizes to make it, to try and compete with the larger, money. So when you have big money, you don't need leverage. You got crazy money to push the market around without a problem. So right now we're dealing with this angular resistance on the climb. And yes, there is a bit of a rising wedge formation happening. Now that we have... so I couldn't have seen it yesterday because we didn't have enough candles to see what it was. Same time yesterday was... Let me see. What is it today? It's 6th of October at 8 a.m. where I am. So yesterday, 5th of October, 8 a.m. we were... Oh, okay. No, wait, maybe. 8 a.m. yesterday. We were about here. So yeah, I guess there was enough information to see the rising wedge yesterday, but I just didn't quite pick up on it. So, but that's all right. We've got it now, and we're still inside it, so it's not too late to pay attention to it. I really hope we can stay above this this 51 or even just 50k level. Right now there is a bit of a pullback happening, but that this can turn into a big tail if it just shoots up all of a sudden. So it's only 24 minutes into this hourly candle, 23 minutes, so nothing to be concerned of just yet. Now let's see what's happening down on the lower time frame. So now on the outlook, so we're on the hourly right now. We are dealing with a red momentum dot on the cipher indicator. I've just circled that, and it's produced a little red dot on top, which is a sell signal. So there could be a bit of a pullback here. I mean, we have spent the last X amount of hours climbing, so it's only reasonable to see a bit of a retracement. to support. Now the support, maybe it's a retest of 50,000, like a back test, just to see if it's going to hold before we get the next leg up. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. So, all right, I'm gonna have a look at some alts right now. Let's check out Ethereum. So ETH is the second biggest player, as we all know. Just arrange this alphabetically. Here we are. Okay. Out on the daily, similar thing to Bitcoin. It had a falling wedge that it bullished, it bull runned out of that. Delete that. And it fell out of a rising wedge, much the same as what Bitcoin did on the way up here. Hey. Alright, so I'm just gonna lock that line in there, and we're gonna see if there's any kind of... Okay, so there was a bit of a fake out, if we're calling this a rising wedge. Or perhaps, yeah, like the trend, yeah, it's very close. This is just a bit of bullish excitement that took it beyond the trend. So there's a bit of a fake out, but then Bitcoin ruined the party for this run for Ethereum. I think if Bitcoin had held the ground, it didn't do that flash crash, Ethereum would be back into price discovery already. But this falling wedge and this falling wedge played out textbook to having a rally afterwards. So we've got, this on the macro scale, like on the daily, this thing tends to behave and play out to what the textbooks suggest would happen, Falling wedge, bullish outcome. Rising wedge, bearish outcome. Falling wedge, bullish break. So, yeah, it's looking good. We've got a higher low, and we're working on getting that higher high, because the high we're dealing with at the moment is 4,370. So let's see it. Now, for the shorter time frames, let's see. We've got a bit of we could do a fib retracement here and see what levels of resistance we're dealing with on Ethereum. So I'll do that. Let me zoom out a bit and grab those levels. So we got this one up here, this one down here. Let's take that across the chart. All right, we're dealing with the golden pocket as we speak. So we're trying to smash through this level of resistance. Once we're above that, we're dealing with a previous pivot right here, which is at basically 3,666, just to make it evil. So current price is 3,516, which is, inside of the golden pocket. I'm just going to finish my drink 1 second. Okay, so let's get this drawn out a bit. So I'm going to delete some of these lines that we don't need currently, and just try to keep focus on the present. So we've got this pivot here. I'm going to establish as resistance right there. Make it blue. It doesn't fall on any particular Fibonacci level. It's just sort of in the middle of nowhere, that one. I've got that as 3676 for Ethereum, 3676, which is basically 3666. We've got to be careful of that level. But so far it is, yeah, it's in an uptrend. There is a rising wedge. that we're in. Something like this. Uptrends cause rising wedges, downtrends cause falling wedges. They don't always play out to textbook outcomes, but it's just something to be aware of and you know, be cautious of, so that you don't get surprised by a sudden drop out in the middle of nowhere. So I'm all for getting a bullish break out of a rising wedge. It's the unexpected outcome, but let's see it. It can still happen. So that's what we're dealing with on Ethereum for the current time. So we've really got to get outside of this this golden pocket, and we have to try and, you know, hope that the market doesn't see this big old rising wedge forming on the 4-hour chart here. You can even see it on the daily, I think. Oh, it's not as clean, but yeah, the hourly definitely you'll see it. So that's what's happening with Ethereum for the time being. Now let's check. Let's see. Let's go by priority of like coin market. Hey, yep. You're very quiet though. Very quiet. So we've got BNB, ADA, and then XRP. So BNB, let's check that. I don't really ever look at BNB too closely, but it is holding above what seems to be this kind of trend here. There is a bit of a downward trend from all-time high to here. So we're reaching somewhat of an apex of these two trends. We need to figure out, are we going to break above it or get rejected off that falling trend and then come back down again? So as it stands, BNB is at $441 right now. So I'll hit save there, but yeah, it's looking good. It's got these pivots here. This is a bit of a double top. Came up, got rejected, came down, came up again, tested it and got rejected. So it's a double top and then trended down. So much like a head and shoulders, a double top is a reversal pattern. It double topped a bit at its all-time high. It wasn't a head and shoulders, it was a double top. It's kind of what BNB tends to do. Instead of getting like, you know, your head and shoulders type reversal patterns, it double tops. A bit of a head and shoulders on this one though, back here. That was enough to kill that trend and then put it back down here. But yeah, there's another way that a trend can reverse is if it hits a trend line. Like, so you've got uptrend here, downtrend, correction, then, you know, not that we had it at the time, but it just hit a big old line of support, which was what was established back here in March. So we sort of hit that, came back. You could see it as like a macro double bottom, really. It almost looks like a head and shoulders as well, doesn't it? Which hasn't played out. It's failed. But yeah, the double bottom there. Or even here. 1, 2, uptrend. It could even... it's not quite... It's a bit of an ugly triple bottom. But anyway, that's BNB. So I am going to save that chart and move along. Now ADA is the next coin, Cardano, on the CoinMarketCap rankings, so it's 4th. ADA. There it is. All right, let's go to the hourly chart. Or the 4 hour. Well, sorry, my bad. The daily is what I mean to say. Rising trend, which I had as a grey line yesterday because it's less significant than this older long-term trend. It's still maintaining that trend. We've broken this trend, so I'll make that a dashed line. We had a trend here that we identified yesterday as a falling trend line from the all-time high, and we're trending above it. We came out, but now we're back testing it to see if it's going to hold support. So far, so good. These fib levels are still very much in play. This is an example of one of these charts where it doesn't truly respect the Fibonacci levels. So you're not going to get too much information out of fib levels in this case, at least for now. You know, until you start seeing it reacting off the fibs, like sort of like this, or like you might get a bit of traffic at the golden pocket or whatever. It's just, yeah, just keep an eye on the pivots. I think they're going to be more important than the fibs in this case. So that's what I see for ADA right now. If you're in ADA, I'd be drawing this trend line here and just keeping an eye on making sure that it maintains price action above that trend. Let me just turn it into like a yellow line so you can see what I'm talking about. That's the trend I'm talking about. So
Mic check.
Yep, can hear you fine. So yeah, this is the daily chart. This is ADA. Now, as far as the MACD goes, it is primed. It's like it's way below the histogram. It's done a bullish cross, and it's looking like it's trying to climb, like it's got a swing back up, hopefully. So we'll see how that pans out. But so far so good. It's held that yellow line and it is making higher lows. It just needs to really truly break above a previous high, because all the highs so far have been lower. You know, lower high, lower high, lower high. You know, we have to stop making lower highs and start getting some higher highs, because we've definitely made higher lows.
Yeah, it definitely seemed to follow the flash crash. We were watching ADA together here a couple weeks ago, big price discovery, when Bitcoin was tapping on that 53,000. So hopefully, you know, we see a turnaround there, because I know a lot of people are still holding that.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see it, you know, get up there and actually do something exciting. We haven't really seen excitement in ADA since back here, you know, since the climb to the all-time high. It's just been, you know, it's been a bleed out ever since. You know, we've been held down by this dash trend line here, this trend. We're only just starting to poke out. The last couple of days have been, you know, the first signs of hope, because we've come to like somewhat of an apex where it really needs to decide, is it gonna go into a bear trend, or is it gonna break out of that cycle? So yeah, that's ADA. Now what's next? XRP. We're not gonna do an analysis on Tether, because it doesn't do anything. So XRP and then Solana. Okay, so XRP. Let me just arrange this. And then we'll look at some trending alts, like just coins that have been on trend lately, after looking at XRP and Solana. What else is in the top 10?
I wanted a TA on USDT.
So we got XRP, Solana, and now Doge is back into 8th spot. I think it was on 9th or 10th recently, so that's made a bit of recovery. It's been sliding, it's been slipping backwards for some time now, but yeah, it's good to see it holding that top 10, like within the top 10. XRP, all right, let's have a look. So the $1 zone, or that level seems to be holding it back still. From a fib retracement from the yearly high, this isn't the all-time high, this is just the yearly high, down to the lowest point after that high as a fib retracement. We got strongly rejected off the 618 Fibonacci level. It didn't come off a previous pivot from what I can see. There's no like real clean, clear reason that it pivoted backwards off that point other than the fact that there's a fib level there. So this is a chart that seems to pay attention and respect the Fibonacci levels, as opposed to ADA, which basically isn't. So you can see, yeah, the first level showed a bit of a sign of rejection here. It got its first like pullback after this, recovery trend. Pulled back, shot up. So that was a very aggressive cup and handle right there. You can see that. So that red daily candle there being the handle, and this scooping action being the cup, which happened like right before that daily candle. Like scooped up, pulled back, and then broke the neckline, which would have been a very aggressive neckline, a very bullish neckline pointing up. And then we got the breakout, so that's cool. Now it did meet a bit of resistance at the first fib, or the second fib level, the 382. So the 236 is first, the 382 is second, and then the 0.5 Fibonacci level. It didn't really see a very obvious pivot rejection off that. It kind of just punched through it, but didn't quite make it to the golden fib level. So that caused it to go into a descending triangle like this. Came up, hit a top, and then was using the 382 as support, it seems. And then it eventually got a bullish break from that descending triangle. Some might have seen it as as just a pennant, or like a triangle, symmetrical triangle. But yeah, to me that looks a bit like a more of a descending triangle. Now let's just delete those squiggles, and yeah, clean rejection off the 618 fib level, pullback, support. Now remember, $1 is a big key level. That's this white line that I have across here. Support here, resistance here. We're now broken above it, and we have back tested it a couple of times. Let me go down to a lower time frame, and I'll show you that on the 1 hour time frame. So, we've maintained support above $1. Hasn't even quite made it back to $1, but there seems to be, a fair bit of support at this level for now. Now, what are we dealing with? Resistance at $1.08 or $1? Let's just call it $1.10. We're stuck between. If you want to get real specific, it's probably like $1.09 and $1. That's the range we're stuck in right now for XRP, and it's been like that for 4 days now, 4 or 5 days. So yeah, let's see something new. We want to get a breakout here. It does kind of look like it's making some kind of a pattern. I don't really know what it is. It looks maybe like an ascending triangle. You've got resistance on top and then higher lows. They're not really clean higher lows, like tracking in a line. But, it is obvious to see like these lows are climbing up and up. So it's somewhat of an ugly ascending triangle.
So Rick, on Friday, I guess XRP won their case with the SEC, and I've been looking all weekend, the last couple of days too, to see if they've been relisted on U.S. exchanges. Do you have any insight on that? Because I did watch the CEO on Saturday, and he was talking about how they won their case.
Okay.
And, they've got good things planned, and I just kind of wondered if you'd heard anything about that.
Right, okay. No, I have not heard any news on that. Okay, let me see. I'm just trying to see if there's been any news here. SEC pushes back. This was 1 day ago. 1 day ago, SEC pushes back against Ripple's flawed search of evidence on XRP. Ripple Elliott wave analysis approaching. Oh, this is like a this prediction.
Yeah, so it was. I believe it was Saturday. I was watching the CEO live, and actually, he's came from a couple of other big companies, but yeah, I was watching him live, and he was saying that they had beaten the SEC, lawsuit or whatever. And
okay,
I've just been waiting to see it come out, in the exchanges.
Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse wants to settle with the SEC under one condition. This was a week ago that this statement came out. I'm not sure what was said, but Brad Garlinghouse revealed his plans to reach a settlement with the SEC. Ripple is looking for absolute certainty on the type of altcoin XRP is, security or not. Ripple CEO wants cryptocurrencies regulated in opposition to SEC Chair Gary Gensler's views. Okay. The SEC case against Ripple is drawing to a close. Based on the new developments, Ripple is likely to settle on one condition. Garlinghouse states, to the extent we can find a constructive path forward with the SEC, we of course want to find that. There's no scenario, though, that we're going to settle unless there's absolute certainty about what XRP is on a go-forward basis. Furthermore, the SEC has denied the motion by Ripple to seek internal documents about SEC's internal trading policies and pre-clearance decisions. It is clear that unless there is absolute clarity on the nature of XRP, a settlement is unlikely to occur. So, if the settlement doesn't go ahead, the fight goes on, like the case continues. But
yeah,
has it settled?
Is there a date on? There's not a date on that?
I think it's just Brad Garlinghouse. He plans to reach a settlement. I don't think the settlement has happened yet. Settlement just means so he pays his way out of the case. Yeah.
Yeah, it's more saber rattling.
Yeah, that's it. Exactly. Does Brad Garlinghouse have a Twitter? Yeah, he does. Let's see if he's been tweeting anything. Today was another good day. That was the 5th of October, so yesterday. So he just retweeted this statement here. XRP holders have always said that the SEC's lawsuit is a direct attack on them. Now it's official. The court's ruling permits John Deaton to share his meaningful perspective to help the court reach a proper decision. Yet another important and positive development. So that's good for XRP, for Ripple. Yeah. Either way, whether it gets settled, which means that Ripple paid their way to just close the case and get on with life, or whether Ripple wins the case, because them winning the case, that would see XRP shoot up like crazy. Yeah, but I mean, settlement is a good thing too, because that just means there's no court case holding it back, it can just get on with things,
right.
Finally. But
it's just not in the live stream. He made it sound like it was definitive. And
I
guess
I see. Yeah, I mean, just from those articles, it didn't say I was confused because I saw the same thing. I saw people tweeting about it a few days ago, that XRP had the case was settled and it's all over. And then I went to the charts and I'm it doesn't really seem like much has happened in light of that. Yeah, there was this rally here, but that's not what you would expect from something that big, I don't know. How many days is this? This is 6 days. Okay, so in a week. I mean, yeah, it has recovered from 90 cents back up just over $1. But nothing reapproaching these pivots here. Which is definitely what it'll do, I reckon, at some point. Regardless of whether Bitcoin's going up or down, But Yeah, I'll be here to check it out when it does. But yeah, XRP, it's an interesting one. It's just, I think it's at a point of indecision. Like the market's waiting to see the outcome of the Ripple case before, taking action on XRP at this point. So, all right, that's enough about XRP. Let's see. Solana. I think Solana has a bit more of an exciting chart than XRP at the moment.
Hey, Rick, just want to jump in before you do some more TA.
Yeah, g'day. No worries. Go ahead.
Just want to thank you, man. Finally got in your Discord.
No worries.
Really appreciate all your advice since I've been following you. I've definitely made some fantastic gains and some good trades off your advice.
Awesome.
So thank you.
You're welcome. Glad to hear it, man. That's great to
That's what
hear.
we like to hear.
I've seen your name you've been around for ages, Tyson. That's good.
Yeah, my first week off your TA advice, I made 7K. I was happy with that.
7K?
I've just been building
beautiful.
my bag slowly. Yeah.
Beautiful.
That's off a 2.7 investment, so I'm really happy.
Beautiful. No, that's really good. Do you spot trade or margin trade, like trade with leverage, or how do you trade? Or is it investment?
No leverage trading.
Okay. Yep.
Disinvestment.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Well, that's great. That's great to hear,
sell
dude.
high, buy low.
Yeah, that's the way. Yeah, it's always good to hear people give feedback and share their story, like with how they found the channel and if any information off the channel helped. And yeah, it's encouraging to keep going. I'm not just wasting my energy by talking about stuff and where I think things are going. So thank you, Tyson. Appreciate that. Yeah, I'm excited to see where the rest of the year, the fourth quarter has only just begun, and things seem to change direction, like when the quarters come around. You get a different vibe off each quarter. So the first quarter, if we go back to Bitcoin here just for a second, I'll scroll out. I think I had boxes drawn around it the other day. So January, February, March being the first one. The 1st of January to the 31st of March. That was a very bullish Q1. And then we had Q2, which was the pullback back to, so April, May, June, all of June. Basically there, like that. And then, so I'm going to put that as a red one. Q2 was a bit shit. It had a couple of good moments at the start, but for the most part, yeah, there was a big pullback. And then we had, what do we have? Q3, which we've just finished, which has been bullish. Not as bullish as Q1, but bullish nonetheless. That took us to just under 53,000. And where are we here? 1st of October is the end. Okay. And now we've just started Q4. And that's how the year has shaped out so far, panned out. So we've had, 2 great quarters. First and third. The second was a bit crap. But we needed to pull back off that huge bull run that has been happening since the COVID breakout, basically. We got that violent dip, and then we've just been climbing ever since. And it got really parabolic around December, November, December, January, February, March was just like crazy. And then, the cool off from that, which is natural. Things don't go up forever. Finding support at the yearly low. So this year, there seems to be some pretty decent support at $30,000. So I'm pretty sure that's why we we maintained and held that area, and it sort of proved to the bulls and to the rest of the market that that is where the buy zone is, the macro buy zone. So yeah, we just needed some kind of spark to get the ball rolling again, which was the B word conference, which shot us up to this bounce, I guess you could say. See, it's weird because usually off a huge downtrend, there's an initial bounce that happens that comes up pretty high. It's just weird that it got stuck underneath the 42, because usually you get a bounce that comes up pretty significantly high, like maybe something like that. But yeah, this stayed flat. It stayed quite flat. Like, it just dropped and no one bought it. Like, I mean, this section here was maybe considered the bounce of this drop. There was a couple of other ones, but that's just, yeah, it's just very choppy. This whole area was very confusing, I guess you'd say, and boring. I didn't trade at all in this spot. The only parts that I traded this year were that part. Obviously, all of this action here. There was the alts were booming around at that time, and then Bitcoin got that massive drop, which was scary as hell. So I stopped trading probably between here and here, like all that area. I wasn't trading anything. I was just doing TA and building the channel. And then yeah, when things started kicking up again, I started trading leverage again, and making trades. Futures derivatives on Binance has been banned in Australia now, so I can't trade leverage anymore with Binance the way I was doing it. I haven't yet tried any other exchanges, but yeah, I'm actually kind of looking forward to just getting back to the relaxing spot trading. Like, there's no liquidations to deal with. You can play it a bit more careful, I suppose. Yeah, it's just a bit more less stressful. So yeah, here we are. The reason I've got that yellow descending line is because of these pivots. You've got one here and here, giving us this descending resistance trend line. Now, go back to the hourly chart. We're still above it. We've got, how long have we got left in the day? An hour and 3 minutes. So we're coming up on an hourly candle close. Let's see how that's going. So it's a pullback candle, which is fine because we've been trending up for so long. I think we deserve a bit of a cool off. Now, all right, let's get back to Solana. That's what we got up to, because we're just going down the list here. So Solana, that's done pretty well considering where it's come from. Like, where it got its all-time high. It got that. It was in like a bit of a falling wedge here, something like that. And then, it did get the positive break, but then there was that. I'm not sure where that issue came on Solana, where their system got flooded with traffic, and it was very like detrimental to the valuation of Solana. Like, it came right down and broke supports, because the supports I think were around 130, 140. Like these pivots over here, like that area here was like gonna be the supports. And yeah, it lost that, trended down. I think it got as low as $116, and now it's on its way to climbing back up. It's great that it got above this point of resistance, that pivot there, and this pivot here. It's currently, just like XRP, it's come up and it's tagged the 618 Fibonacci level, and it's got a sharp rejection so far. It's put it into a falling wedge pullback right now, which the good thing about that is that, textbook falling wedge, we expect it to break out to the upside. No guarantee, but it's a fairly strong likelihood. It's in, some people call that a bull flag. It does look kind of like a bull flag, but yeah, we'll see if we can get it to break out and at least retest that 618 fib level. if not punch through it and you know, climb higher to the 786. I really like this fib pullback because look at that, the pivot over here lines up beautifully with the 786 Fibonacci level. The golden pocket lines up with the resistance here. So yeah, I think this chart is respecting the fibs pretty well. You know, you've got resistance here on the 236. There was a bit of a hiccup here on the 382. An obvious rejection here at the 0.5 Fibonacci level. And then you've got, yeah, it's just like every level seems to have had some kind of activity off it. It might not be perfectly to the dollar or to the decimal place, but it's close enough for me to call that like having influence. So yeah, that's Solana. I'm pretty bullish still on Solana because you've got these, if you go out to the daily chart and you look at the lows, like the pivots. So that's a pivot there. This is a pivot here. That's a pivot. This is a pivot. And these are like lows, like basically respecting the rising trend line here. And we've held that, and we keep setting in these higher lows. And yeah, we're just currently cooling off this huge move that we did here, which, you know, made a decent amount of gain, like 38% in a matter of what, how many days is that? 5 days? Yeah, 5 days, 38%. That's pretty decent, I think. Especially for something that's in the, you know, the top 10. So, all right, that's Solana. I'm bullish on it. It's in a falling wedge, which is a bullish pattern. So we'll see if we can get that bullish breakout. Now, the next one on the chart here under Solana is Dogecoin. Let's check Doge out. I know a lot of you are probably keeping your eyes on that too. Doge, there it is. All right, look at that uptrend. So higher lows, very clear higher lows, very clear higher highs as well. You know, we're on an escalator going up at the moment. Is there any rising wedges that we have to be careful of? The shape, the patterns that none of the bulls like these patterns, but you know, they are there, so you got to keep an eye on them. So this is the support trend that we're dealing with. I'll make it red just because it, you know, the next expected macro move after something goes up is down. We just don't want it to go down low. We want to make a higher low. Like, you know, making lows is okay. It's just we want it to be a higher low than lower. So if we can keep that. Yeah, I'm not going to call this a wedge. It's just too vertical. And it's not clean enough to be a wedge. So I'll change that to like a white line just so it's neutral. And then, yeah, keep our eye on that. Now, this is the 1 hour chart. It's a bit zoomed in. There's no perspective on it. So I'm going to go to the daily. And we are dealing with, if we ignore this part of the chart, which is the all-time high and all of this price action, because we can't really draw a trend from there. I think the trends from there have long been played out, and we've gotten past that now. And I'll show you what I mean by that just quickly. So if we take the all-time high as a pivot and trace it down, I think we were done with this trend all the way back here. Like, see that? We already broken like the pattern that was made off that trend a long time ago. You know, back in May, the end of May, early June, we broke out of it. So now, has there been any other patterns or trends off the all-time high? Maybe this one. Yeah, it's a bit of a stretch. Nah, I don't think so. It just ignores too much price action to call it anything. There was another one here, like off this bump here and this here. That was another trend that got broken. Not strong, like it snuck out of it and just bled out because there was no volume in Doge at that time, that no one was really interested in buying it long term. And now what we've got here is this sharp pivot, very obvious. It sticks out pretty well. And then we've got this sharp pivot here that sticks out as well, pretty sharp and severe. So I think it's fair to call this the current active trend line. And the Fibonacci levels, so we're drawing it from all-time high down to the 16-cent level. And yeah, we haven't even really punched up. We have in the, like, over here momentarily punched up through the 236 fib, but we've once again met resistance, and then, you know, that's what gave us this trend line, this resistance trend line. And can you see how it reacted off that trend beautifully? Like it's really paying attention to it. So I've locked to the tippy top of that candle there and matched it to this let's pick this pivot here perfectly. So it's snapped on, it's perfect. And you can see how it struggled it had an influence on this part of the price move here. And arguably that too, but for the most part, this is all creating a lot of fear, this descending trend. Now, the cool thing about it is we've also got a supporting trend on the bottom side now, like we're dealing with this, just this really long, lazy line that's coming up slow. We are like approaching an apex, so something exciting has to happen with Doge. You know, I hope it's not something like this where it just pokes up and then starts bleeding down on top of the trend. Sort of like it did back here. Like there was this trend and it popped out, but then it started bleeding on top. It's just annoying. Now, let's see, what kind of horizontal support resistance levels do we have to deal with now? I mean, we've peeled off the back of the initial move up. We're still holding this very sharp trend going up, which is great. That's good. Bitcoin needs to show some strength, I think, for Doge to continue climbing and rallying up. But yeah, it's great to see last night, or, you know, even just a few hours ago, that we hit a high of just under 27 cents, so 26.80, 26.8 cents. And, you know, the next fib level, the next key levels to test is 29 cents, 30 cents roughly. You know, that's where a fib lies, the 236 Fibonacci level. So, yeah, I just want to get it to break out of that resistance. It's been so annoying to see it keep falling back off that resistance level. Anyway,
that's pretty much, that's where we were exactly a month ago. I think I sold a bunch of Doge at 30 cents, and that was pretty much a month ago, maybe a month and a day.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's I don't know, it's losing volatility, which is good because that means it's being squeezed. Now a squeeze results in some kind of explosive move. Hopefully that means up and not down. You can see like ever since this high and this low, there has not been a move that dramatic since then, you know, or that expanse, like that much of a price gap. Every move after that since then has been tighter. Like the further we get to the apex, obviously, is the tighter it squeezes down. So that's what we're dealing with.
So would you call that like an accumulation, or would you call that just a lot of people holding?
Well, it's kind of a sign, yeah, accumulation, yes, and also a sign of indecision and a lack of volume. There's no one's really interested in buying into Doge at this point because there's no breakout rallies happening at this point in time just yet. But that's okay. It means there will be a point where it does do that. But for now, there hasn't been like a big, 40% up day, or like 20% up or 30% up day. I'm on the daily
right,
now.
and with that lull, it's kind of held its own. So even with the lull in volume, it's it's really pretty stable, right?
It is, yeah, it is. Well, that's it. It's been sitting at levels of support. I think the people that wanted to dump it have already done it. You know, the people that weren't confident in it, that held it, have already got rid of it. You know, and this is where it's panned out. You know, it's like there's nothing left to throw out. Like it's the people that are maintaining this value of, you know, above 20 cents, above 16 cents. The people that have held those positions believe in it long term, I guess. They're in more of the bigger, longer term plays, and I don't think they'll be selling. Like, if they could have sold up here, you know, if they wanted to get rid of it, because this was a pretty decent move up, and then it showed signs that it was struggling. So, you know, if you didn't believe in it, you could have got rid of it through this area above, you know, 25 cents. So yeah, just if you're in Doge and you've been in it since, like, you know, 40 cents, 50 cents, whatever, I think the worst of it is over. That's what this chart's telling me, because we've got these big retests of lower levels with 16 cents a couple of times here. We've established decent support at 20 cents for now, which is awesome. And we're rallying back up right as we speak. So, you know, the worst could be over. I think the storm might be over for Doge, and we might be able to start accumulating again, or, like, you know, accumulating value. So just hang in there. I know Doge has turned a lot of people in this community to Doge investors when they were only trying to trade it, because you know, they got stuck, which is a very common thing for beginner traders to fall into. Like, they get trapped in bags. They hold bags in coins, so that's completely normal. Don't worry about it. It happens to everyone. All right, so that's Doge. Now, some people are a fan of Polkadot, so I'll just do a summary on Polkadot as well. I'll sum up what I think about that, and then I'll look at Shiba, because a lot of people are asking about Shiba Inu. I'm curious about Shiba as well, but let's check out Polkadot. Still inside of this this triangle formation. This, you know, we've come up, we've hit a high, corrected off that high, and maintained support on a trend. So we are still very much above that trend, so it's looking good for now. There is this light gray trend, this sub sort of trend happening inside of a longer term trend, which comes off the all-time high down to this pivot. So what do I think is going to happen here? It does look like a bullish pennant is forming, because we've come off an uptrend, we've hit resistance, bounced down, found support, and I think we're on our way to test the top of the trend again. Maybe we come back for one final test of support before breaking out, and then, you know, climbing back up to all-time high again for DOT. But yeah, keep an eye on those trends. Try to draw those in. The best place to start when you're drawing trends is the daily chart. Just zoom out, try to identify where the pivots are, and draw your trends of resistance and support. Not to mention your horizontal price levels of support resistance too. Those also happen at pivots, levels of pivot. Yeah. And always pay attention to the big round numbers, you know? Like, $22 isn't going to have as much impact as $20 or $30, because they're round, they're the big, you know, testing numbers. Like, so when you get a weird number like, you know, 22.77 or, you know, 21.16, like, those aren't psychological numbers. Those are just, they're just like little, they're just numbers or figures on the way to a big round number. It's weird. The psychology is just weird with numbers like that. So yeah, that's DOT. I'm bullish on it. Reason being, it's in a bullish continuation pattern as we speak. So on the macro scale, so everything below that, you can take the analysis I just did and put that onto the lower time frames as well. Like on the 15-minute chart, okay, there's something happening within the 15. See, there's a bit of a pennant formation here off an uptrend. Expected move would be up off that. Yeah, there's a trend coming off that high down to here, like that. So that's gonna prove as some form of a test of resistance as well. Yeah, just keep your eye on things like that, and then if you've got some pivots to work off, you can draw a trend line going like that. See, this is a lower time frame. You don't even see this kind of activity when you're out on the daily, you know. It's just sort of just part of the price fighting resistance of a trend. So yeah, that's what I see for DOT. Not terribly exciting as an analysis, but yeah, that's all I got for DOT. Now, let me check out. Someone's asking about Shiba. Let me check Shiba, and then I'll have a look at Link, Vinny. So yeah, I can see that Link. And then someone's asking about VET, VeChain. So VeChain, Link, and Shiba. So we'll start with Shiba, because Shiba's been popping lately. Shout out
to a little bit of leverage on that earlier.
Nice. Oh no, that's all right. Yeah, that's sweet. Yeah, it was easy to see where that was heading. Like, especially after this initial run. This is a textbook bull pennant, guys. If you want to know what a bullish continuation pattern, here's one staring us in the face. Like, breakout, perfect. The scary thing is, it traced out the same kind of shape here, but it failed. Like, so you got to be careful. Like, they're not guarantees, but they are something to pay attention to as potential points of breakout. If it sort of breaks out and then pulls back and finds support outside the shape, you can be more confident in opening along and then it climbing. So, you know, if you follow those rules, this bull pennant wouldn't have stung you, you know, because it never did break this descending resistance here. So it lost the support side of the pennant, which means you could have, you know, like stayed out of it or opened a little short if you were gutsy, like if you wanted to just grab that pullback. It still produced some decent differential in price. Like we got probably like a 13% pullback there off the pennant. And now we're trying to like recover and climb off that. So fingers crossed that works out. Let's do a fib, a trend-based fib extension. See if there's any like key levels to look out for here. So there's 47 people. Thank you guys for tuning in. Remember to smash the like button and hit subscribe if you haven't already. If you're not part of the Discord, jump in. It's free to join. There's a link to it at the top of the chat, the YouTube chat, and come in and say hello and ask questions if you have any. The best way to get questions answered is to ask them verbally. Like, you know, come in and say, hey, can you do this? Can you look at this, please? And whatever, you know? Because sometimes I don't always, like, keep an eye on the chat. So someone else is asking about a GLD. I see that someone named Pull Counter, so I'll check that out too. So yeah, that's Shiba. If this climb is to continue and carry on, it's a 618 is a pretty nice spot to try and target for a test, which is basically 2065. I won't read out all the zeros before that. There's 4 zeros, so it's 0.0000 2065 is the 618 target there. Current price is 1753, 1757, around that area. Now, why did it pull up where it did? Is there any reason why it found resistance? Did it just run out of steam? Or was there some kind of level of resistance? So let me check. I'll go out to the daily. Alright. It seems to me it was just a test of 2000. It was a big even number that it hit. And it just hasn't been able to smash through that. All right, so that's Shiba. The writing's on the wall at the moment. 2,000 whatever, I'm going to call it Satoshis for lack of a better term. 2,000 Satoshis would be my call for the major resistance that we have to deal with. Right there. But much like Doge, if you believed in Shiba long term, like Prolific, for those who know who Prolific is, he's been talking about Shiba for months. And it's been stuck in this range. It's just been ranging sideways, that is beautiful to see something hold support for that long. It's just, that should be a green light or dollar signs to investors, people that are wanting to play a breakout, because, you know, there was clean resistance at 1,000 and clean support at basically 550. So 555 and 1,000 bouncing in that range. We got the breakout in the past couple of days, and it's made crazy gain. Like, it's gone up crazy, like what, 188%. That's really good. So yeah, that's Shiba. I can't really see in the past why it's got, let's see if there's any reason why it's pivoted off 2,000. Not really. I mean, there was this one where it came up and got rejected, but even that wasn't quite 2,000. That was 1962. So it fell short of testing 2,000. But yeah, maybe that's reason enough for it to for the people to take profit at that spot. Now, if we turn the logarithmic scale on, oh, that's not even really giving us much resolution as to why, or, you know, reaction to it. I mean, current Shiba all-time high seems to be 5,000 on Binance. I mean, this is just that crazy wick that you get when something gets listed. The price action goes crazy when things get listed. So you have to be very careful with what you're doing. But yeah, it's been up as high as 3924 off proper price action. See, this kind of, I don't fully trust this low and high on listing, like, because it's not really representative of anything other than the fact that it just hit the market, you know. Like, I don't really call that an all-time high or a high. I think the real high is like around here, around 4,000. But yeah, technically, okay, Shiba has been at 5,000 sats or whatever you want to call that. Yeah, Shiba. So it's still in an uptrend. Let's put it that way. What you want to pay attention to if you're in it is this trend line here. Let me just draw that in. It's something like that. It has to maintain price action above that line to stay bullish and to stay on trend. If it loses it, you're facing something like maybe a head and shoulders like this. Like if it was to lose it around here and then fail to make a higher high and then pull back off that, that's like a bit of a head and shoulders type movement. But yeah, that's just, you know, that's me describing it. That's not me saying it's going to happen, a head and shoulders, but yeah, just be careful of things like that. Also be careful of double tops. Like if it comes up and gets rejected here, that could be a sign of a pivot coming, you know, where it drops out. So yeah, the higher this goes, the more risky it is to jump on board as a bull. So just be careful. Keep your eye on the oscillators. We've definitely got bearish divergence. So that means, you know, we've got a higher high on price, but a lower high on the oscillators. So I'm showing it on the RSI here, especially, and also the market cipher. It's got like weaker waves. So that second move up there was just, you know, a weaker move up than the initial move up, you know. So be careful. It is playing out to be something like a what do you call this, a Elliott wave, right? So Elliott wave has impulse wave 1, pullback is wave 2, second impulse up is wave 3, fourth wave is the second pullback, and then you've got the fifth wave, which is what we're all hoping to see, a fifth wave play out and go up. So yeah, the wave 3 was a little bit underwhelming, if you ask me. If we're calling this an Elliott wave count, you know. I don't know where you start that count from. I'm not really an Elliott wave analyst. I don't really use Elliott wave theory too much. I've seen it explained a couple of times, maybe back in 2018, but I don't fully remember the laws and the rules behind it. But yeah, that's the gist of it. I know that wave 4, as a rule, can't fall deeper than the top of wave 1. That invalidates the Elliott wave count. So it is technically, it's all still valid. Now, as a target for the top of wave 5, like where the hell does this thing stop? They use trend-based fib extensions in Elliott wave. So it goes from, like, you know, a swing low to the high. So wave 2 to wave 3 back to wave 4, and then you basically get these targets extrapolated out. You know, a 1-to-1 Elliott wave would put Shiba to 2347. That's what or 2345 is what I have. So I'm gonna leave all that there and see if it plays out. Actually, let's see if we can hit 2345. So if you were to take that as a trade and you think it's gonna happen, that would make you 33% basically. But yeah, no guarantees. This is not trading advice or investment advice, so be careful with what you do. It is your decision where you go from here with any trade. So alright, that's enough about SHIB. It's still in an uptrend, still bullish, so good luck to you guys who are trading SHIB. Now, we've done Doge, done DOT, and we just got a super chat. So Joe Pina 2A, thank you for the $4.99 super chat there. He says, thank you, sir, and you're most welcome. Appreciate the support. Let's see, so we've done Shiba. Now, what was the other alts here? Someone's asking about AGLD. That was quite high up there on the requests, so I'll look at that. And also VET and Link. Yes, Link. AGLD. I don't even know if that's in my watch list. Let me add it in.
It's Adventure Gold.
Alright, yep. AGLD, okay. Okay, wow, this has only just come out onto Binance, I'm guessing. It's only just been listed 16 hours ago, and it's up since opening. Since listing, it's done some pretty nice moves there. Be careful on it, because there's no real price history on it. Let me look at coin market cap to see if it's got older data than what we're being given on coin market cap, on TradingView, sorry. So if you click on the market button when you click on an alt, it gives you the list of where it exists. So it's on Coinbase, it's on all of these, FTX, Binance, Huobi, Gate.io, Poloniex. Yeah, okay, so it's got a long history there. I'll go back to the overview and see history. Okay, so it came out 9/2/2021. I don't know if that means the 9th of February or the 2nd of September. Anyway, I'm thinking 2nd of September. The way they list, or the way they
just got listed on Coinbase like a week or two ago.
Okay. Yeah. So in that respect, yeah, it's in an uptrend. Like that's as much as I can give you. If I go back to the 15-minute chart, you can only trade this off like shorter time frames because that's all we have. We don't have a lot of information to go off. Just be careful on it, because these new coin, like these, when things get freshly listed like this, they can go anywhere and they can drop. Unless you're really in tune with the fundamentals and you believe in it, and and you see it climbing higher, then that's your call, that's your shot. But I'm not going to make calls on it. Like there's not enough detail. But yeah, it's great to see that it's made it onto Binance. That's a good thing, and it's moved up at listing rather than dropping, so that's good. That makes me think there wasn't much of a pre-sale, perhaps, with AGLD. I don't know. I'm not sure. All right, someone's asking. I've got a mate of mine asking about Link, and that is Vinny. So he wants to know about Link, and then I'll look at VeChain. So Link first. All right, that's in a climb. Let me go to the daily chart. That's good. We got fib levels set up already from what appears to be the all-time high to the lowest point of the pullback. I don't know where my all-time high line went. I like to make them pink for some reason. Just bright and easy to see. And yeah, lowest point being $13.37 after like the lowest point of the pullback from the all-time high, giving us the fib level. So it's found resistance once again. The 618, the golden fib level, is a pretty popular area to take profits if you're in a trade after a huge pullback like this. It's a pretty popular spot. Like when a support gets established and the bulls are confident, that seems to be where it sort of goes up and targets and ends up. It has punched beyond that, arguably, but it seems to have had some kind of a head and shoulders as well. That is Link, and the head and shoulders has played out already. It's found support. It was in actually a bear pennant, and it's broken bullish, so that's actually against the textbook. So it's defying the odds, and it's broken up. Now it's gotten itself above the 0.5 fib level, so that's a good start. And we're gunning for these previous pivots, and hopefully we can, crack through them, and then, climb our way back up to test the 786 and then the all-time high. So at this point, it's still technically in a downtrend, if you will. Like, I'll show you that. 1 second. We've got a high, a lower high, and then a lower high, a low, and a lower low. So everything's lower, lower, lower. It's trending down. However, there could have been let's see if there was a falling wedge with this thing. I'm giving TA on Chainlink right now, Buddy Langford. So just sorry if it's not clear up there. If it's hard to read, yeah, this is Chainlink. There was some kind of a falling wedge. It wasn't very clean or tidy. Something like this. Couple of lows there. Highs. There was a wick out of the wedge there, but yeah, for the most part, it stayed within that kind of formation. You could even draw it to there. Then it's nice to draw it to here because it includes this part of the price action in the wedge. Either way, it was trending down, and now it's showing signs of strengthening and popping up. So what it needs to do is get above this pivot here and this pivot here. So it's basically around the golden pocket. All right, and that's what I see for Chainlink. So it's looking promising. We'll put it that way. I would suggest putting a trend line like this and just keeping an eye on it and making sure it doesn't lose that trend. Because that's the hope that it has right now, is that it's trending above, making higher lows. It's broken out of a falling wedge. And yeah, it's looking like it's got a bit of promise. Oleg. Rick, how are you doing today? Or how are you today? Is the weather good in Australia? Yes, I'm doing very well, thank you, this morning, and the weather's beautiful. I think it's blue skies. So it's good laundry weather if you have dirty clothes to dry in the sun. Yeah, thank you for asking. I hope you're doing well too, Oleg. Now, That's linked. Someone was asking about VeChain, so I'll do a bit of a rundown on VeChain. VET. All right. We've got fibs in here. It's tough to say where do we draw the bottom. Like, do we take it to that extreme wick, or do we take it to this wick or this one? It's like, you know, it's up to us to choose where the hell I'm gonna say that wick there, because it was clean resistance here. And, you know, we've at least tested it 3 times with some points pushing through here and here, but we'll pretend those don't exist. just to try and simplify what's happening here. So ascending trend line, it got broke. Let's adjust it, because we have new information on the chart, which is completely okay to do. I'm not cheating by changing where my lines are. I'm just saying that the old line is now irrelevant, like it's been invalidated, I guess you could say. And yeah, it seems to be something like this for now. There is another trend that happened off this pivot, and I'll show you where that broke, where that failed. So we had this pivot to that pivot there. If I can get it. Oh, okay, no, it is still in play. So there's a couple of trend lines that you could probably draw. I think this one's a bit more, it's like shorter time frame, so I'll delete that. This is longer term, this trend, so we'll go off that one. Let me just change this to, or let's zoom in and really nail that onto the wick. And then this one onto the wick. Now, I know a lot of people say you have to draw your trend lines to candle bodies, but in this case, the wicks are giving us information that is relevant. Because look at this. Look at that. It's as support. It's come in and it's as though it can see the line, you know, and it's acted as enough of a level of support to pivot off. So I think that's a reasonable line there to me. Moving on. So as far as the fibs go, we've established that that's the bottom of the fib. I'm happy with that. And the 382 is proving to be resistance a couple of times here. Haven't quite made it to the 0.5. There was an approach, but I think this is where we suffered the flash crash of Bitcoin and it just pulled it back. So we are now fighting to get above the 236. So not incredibly strong just yet. Doesn't mean that it can't get strong in the coming couple of days. But yeah, it's good to see that we're on the macro level, we are making higher lows, which is good. Over time, that means the price is going to go up. You know, if we hold and maintain that trend, it's just going to keep climbing. So do we have any resistance trends? And yes, I think we do. If we take the all-time high here, trace it to there, that seems to be a trend that we've faked out of, and now we're sort of back below it. We're now looking to break above it again, I would say. But let me get this really dialed in. Perhaps it's something like that. See, the thing with trend lines, they can be so sensitive, like when you draw them to the wicks, that, you know, perhaps a chart on a different exchange has it a bit cleaner, and like getting the action off the trend line a lot tighter and like more perfect, I guess you could say. So yeah, Binance, it looks okay. It's clean enough. There was a bit of a fake out here, or a bit of action. Like that's more than just a fake out. It's like, you know, a few days outside of that trend that it broke out. But thanks to the Bitcoin flash crash, or the market, I'm gonna just call it the market flash crash, we lost that that potential rally that was climbing and punching through the Fibonacci levels. So we're back under now. Found support off the big long-term support trend line. And yeah, we're approaching a pretty critical time for VeChain. It's approaching this apex, like something has to give here. You know, if you want to draw it out even further, you could say something like this, which it does kind of ignore. It excludes this. I know it excludes a lot of things, drawing it like that, but you know, some people might be seeing it like that too. So it's okay to have more than one trend line, like more than one sort of like analysis or idea about where the trend might be. But yeah, that's VeChain. It's long-term bullish because the lows are getting higher, and then given enough time, the highs get higher too. You know, so it is just in like a bit of a squeeze right now, just like Doge is in a squeeze. A lot of the alts are in this like squeeze off their all-time high, and that's just the natural instance that happens after reaching an all-time high. Like things calm down again, they settle, and then they take off once they reach the critical point of the squeeze. So yeah, that's VeChain. I'm not bearish on any of the alts at this point. Now we've got 20 minutes until the daily candle opens, so not too long to go until we see that. I'm going to hit save on this chart just so I don't lose that all of those drawings. Now, I'm just going to scroll up here and see if there's any other people that have requested anything different from what I've been looking at. I think that's pretty much covered it. Someone's asking for XRP again. I'll look at that, Carlo. Hey, OG Alchemist, good to see you tuning in today. Now, let's have a look. So, XRP again, 1 second. And I think someone said AXS, and I'll look at that too. So, XRP... go back to that chart. So once again, XRP is squeezing. You know, it came off that $2 high from earlier this year. It rallied down, found support, and now it's trending up. It's maintaining support of this big long-term trend line here. Just remember, if you lose support of a big trend line like that, that is significant, and I wouldn't be looking to go long. You need that to cool off if you lose a trend. So just be careful with trend lines like that. It's above $1. It hasn't taken off yet, truly. There was a clean rejection at the golden fib level. Let me just go back here. This is out on a daily. Damn, this thing wicked down to 10 cents last year. That's crazy. 10 cent XRP, that would have been a great buy. Now, which is the chart that rejected clean off the 618? Was it Solana or Ethereum? Oh, Ethereum, maybe. Maybe I'm just tripping. I don't know. There was something. I thought it was XRP that did it, but anyway. Yeah, the fib retracement is a bit of a tricky tool. There's no rules to it as far as like, oh, you have to sell at the 618 or you have to buy at the 382. Like it's just to see if there's any kind of activity happening off those levels, which gives you the confidence to target. You know, if there's a fib level above you, that could be a point of resistance. So, you know, it's just a way to be cautious of that level, you know? Gives you points of resistance that may not be obvious if you didn't have the fib retracement on. Yeah. I'll delete some of these old lines because they're irrelevant now. But yeah, much like Doge and a lot of the alts, it's hit a yearly high, and everything since then has just been lower and lower volatility until we're squeezing. So we're squeezing. XRP is squeezing. We are approaching like an apex. We might not see something really exciting happen until like, you know, November or December at the latest. So, but I'm all for it. I'm all for anything going up, because you know we make money with the bullish moves. So now someone's asking about ICP. Now, is there anything I missed? Oh, AXS. Someone's asking about AXS. It's in a bit of a pullback off. Okay, this thing's been just in price discovery for so long now. Like, its whole existence has been price discovery. Oh, that's why I was in logarithmic when I was looking at XRP, and that's why maybe it wasn't showing the rejection. Yeah, there we go. That looks better. I was looking at it like this. I'm like, wait a minute, that looks wrong. But yeah. On the linear scale, we got a clean rejection at the 618 fib level. So there we go. That's cleaner. We're battling the 382 right now. If we can punch through that convincingly, we can, you know, test the 0.5 fib level, which is, there was a wick to it, but other than that, there's not too much action to act as resistance. So I don't see why we can't come trend back up to like $1.40. $1.41 to test the golden ratio again for XRP. But yeah, it's looking good so far. We've got higher lows, and we're sort of breaking out of what seems to be like some kind of a falling wedge, which is like this. It's a bit of it's an awkward looking falling wedge, but it's a falling wedge nonetheless. So we'll hit lock on that, and falling wedge, bullish outcome. Good to see. So I'll leave that there just so people can understand it and see it. We can sort of get a familiarity of like where we, you know, if we pick this up in a day or two, we can remember where we came from and just get a reference point to where we're looking at. But yeah, that's XRP now. What was the other one? AXS. That's the other one we were looking at. Make sure logarithmic is off. So yeah, price discovery all year. It's just been gunning and gunning for higher highs. So it's currently in a cooling off pullback phase. So be careful. I wouldn't be buying it just yet, perhaps. But on the lower time frame, on the hourly, could it be at support? You know, could this be a decent spot to look for a buy? Can you see the bear flag here? It could be a decent spot to buy, but we'll just check. One sec. That's a bear flag. That's a pretty clean bear flag right there. And that's exactly the result of a bear flag. You fall out the back of it. Trend down, bounce up, fall out like that. Textbook. So right now it's very flat, isn't it? Jeez. For the last, what, 8 hours, it's just been trending in this tight channel between $127 and $132, basically. Go down to the 5-minute chart. Yeah, stuck in that zone. Bit of a limbo zone. What would be my call? I would be careful of this, because this could be a bear pennant, which results in a bearish move down. If it's to play out to what the textbooks suggest. So be cautious of that. But you know, if it retraces nicely, it's gonna give the market an opportunity for cheaper prices to prepare for the next run to price discovery, because this thing likes to go into price discovery, which is awesome. This was the all-time high at one point. This wick, this crazy move up, and you can see how the move that came after that made that look like nothing. You know, like it just punched through it and went straight up. Pretty exciting. It went up, what, 63% off the previous high. That's crazy. Incredible. So yeah, the alts, if they go on trend, they go on trend. Something fundamental must have happened in AXS for it to do that in the last week. So
hey Rick,
it's cool. Yeah, man.
Somebody in the YouTube chat, I think Tuggy is the first part of his name, or their name, but they're asking about
setting up a fib.
Yeah, setting up a fib.
Yep, no worries, I'll do that. So someone's just got in there, sneaked in a request for ICP, so I'll look at that quickly. Let's see. This is doing similar to what Shiba has done in the past. So, you know, it's done this crazy open to the market on Binance, and then it's just trended down. It's done nothing but trend down, and you know, trying to establish a level of support, and it's done that. I would say that at least for now the support is about $30, you know, for ICP. Let me just draw that in to be a bit more accurate. 30, okay. Hit lock. Yes, there's a bit of activity below 30, but I'm going to use 30 just because it's a nice even round number. And then we do have resistance at what seems to be 80. So between 30 and 80 is like a bit of a zone of support resistance that we're dealing with. Let me turn automatic off. But yeah, so far so good. We've got a higher low. So if we're calling this a low here, this is a bit of a double bottom. So it's come down, bounced, double bottomed, and then rallied up off that. Now we're pulling back thanks to the flash crash of Bitcoin. And now it's like we're on a climb back. And by the way, I will loop back to Bitcoin once I've finished doing TA here. I have done TA on Doge as well, Carlo, already this morning. So if you want to catch all of them, I would say like try to maybe hit subscribe and hit the bell icon, because that's when I go live. Like I'll turn my stream on and go live, and that's how I'll do it. And I'll also tweet about it. So follow me on Twitter. Just search Crypto Down Under in Twitter, and I think there's even a command here that you can do. If you get bell notifications for Twitter, you'll know when I plan to go live, or when I'm on. I'll try to tweet about it before I do it. So there it is. The Nightbot is helping me out. So all right, so we've got that high, and we've peeled off to the lowest point after that. Now to do a fib, someone's asking about fib retracements. This is how you do it. So when you're finding support, when you want to look for support, you take it from a low, a swing low, which is here, and you want to get the most extreme point. That's how I do it. I take it to the extreme point at the bottom, and then take it to the highest point after that low, which is here in this case. It's not here, it's here because it's higher. So lowest point to highest point, scroll it across like that. Now this is a support fib. So this one, actually punch through the common areas that you get a bounce, which is between the 0.5 and the 0.65. That's usually the area you get a bounce, but this one has reached a bit beyond that, and it's found the support at the 786 support fib. So now that we have that information, let's just call the 786 here the support, and we're now trending up. So we want to know what's going to act as resistance as we climb. So yeah, that's the support fib. Now let's do the resistance fib. So that goes in the other direction. That's from a high to a low, like that. If we trace that across and wind it out, check out where we're currently getting resistance, like pretty much to the T, at the 382 Fibonacci level. Bit of activity around the 236, not perfect. It's very choppy, and there's like action above and below it, but for the most part there is a lot of action around that level, that first fib level. So it took a bit of time, but we had to wait for a bull flag, or a falling wedge. They're very similar. Falling wedges and bull flags look kind of similar, but yeah, that's a textbook falling wedge or bull flag, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, it's punched up. We're testing that, currently peeling off that rejection of the 382. But if we can establish support maybe here, because that's an old resistance, right? If we can pull back, maybe we have already tested it and we're just pulling off that initial run, and we need that spring to launch us through the 382 so that we can test the 0.5 and then hopefully the golden pocket, the 618 fib level. But yeah, it is a long ways off. It's all-time high. This is ICP, so yeah, I think it's on Coinbase, isn't it? Internet computer, whatever it's called. Really weird name for a crypto. Internet computer protocol or something like that. Yeah. Anyway, look at that wick on its open. That's crazy. That went up to $2,831, and it's currently trading at $54. So, damn, if it ever got back up there, that's a 4,700% increase on ICP. Yeah. So, I don't know where ICP existed before it got onto Binance. Let's check if there's like any kind of explanation to that. ICP, internet computer. Let's go to like, where's the complete dawning of its historical data? Here we go. Let's see if we can find. I mean, is that it's in... Oh, okay, it's saying load more. Load more. She could arrange it by... Okay, maybe that was the opening day. It opened at nothing. Went up to 750. So the 10th of May, that was the day it opened. And yes, that is the day that it got listed to Binance as well. So that works out. That checks out. A high of 750, which is way higher than this anomalous wick. So this is why I don't trust these opening candles when they get listed on exchanges, because that's not technically the high. The high was 750, which is back down here. Anyway, not important for the immediate future. We're dealing with pivots. We've got a lot more. We got more immediate trouble ahead, or pivots to deal with, than worrying about that crazy wick. So there's this pivot up here. That's $87. Is like the writings on the wall there. That's the highest it's been since, like, let's see. June 9, June 8, something like that. It had been below that price all that time. We're pretty much, yeah, we're on the floor. Like we've got a lot of room above to climb. So I'd be drawing in this for ICP. There's like a trend line here. Let's go here, across to there, whoop, across to just there. Yep. Hit lock, and that's what we got.
Hey Rick, we're about a minute before the day to close, and that last hourly red candle on Bitcoin, we've eaten up about a third of that, and
cool.
We're still above 51.5.
Thank you for reminding me. I should have checked the time, but yeah, we are less than a minute, 20 seconds, in fact. So this daily candle, I'm so glad that it's closing above the yellow line there. Thank you for the subscription. I don't know how to pronounce that name. It looks either Ukrainian or Russian, but yeah, thank you all the same. Let's see. There we go. We've got the daily. We've started the daily, the new daily, and so far, let's go down to like the 5-minute chart.
I love seeing that we closed above that trend line, you know, on
Yeah.
my chart and yours. So yeah,
Yep.
It looks good.
Definitely. So yeah, from the very start of this stream, I moved through all of the coins with an analysis. But yeah, I'll do another one on Doge, just for those that came in late. So ICP, I think we've touched on that. That's a very, yeah, it's much like Shiba. You know how Shiba just stayed flat for so long, and then all of a sudden, boom, it got the breakout that everyone was hoping for. Hopefully that's the case with ICP as well, but yeah, it's looking like Shiba, like where it's stuck in a range, and it's, you know, it needs to wait for the day where it just finally breaks, you know, $80 and it starts trending above 100. All right, Doge seems to be like the crowd favorite in this community. Here it is. So long term, macro view, we're out in the daily here. We've got a trend that I know it ignores the all-time high price action, but I feel like trends from the all-time high have kind of like been and gone, like as resistance. So we're now dealing with trends that start from these pivots here. This seems to be a bit more relevant to what's happening lately, this trend here. So we're underneath it, and we're also above a support trend, which comes from 16 cents, drawing it to 20. And the recent move has been like coming off support and then like approaching the top. So yeah, we could come up with resistance at, you know, say 28, between 28 and 30 cents would be tests of resistance, because it sort of lines up with a test of the top of this falling trend line here, this descending trend line. Now, on a bit of a smaller time frame, let's go to the hourly. We are above this trend, which has been set in for the last couple of days. It's a rising trend line. We are looking like we've peeled back, and we're coming back to maybe retest. We want it to hold. We want to see this trend line hold to see another leg up, and at least come up and test the top of that long-term resistance trend line. So yeah, that's what I see for Doge. It just needs that volume to step in. It's currently on a downswing, so I wouldn't go long just yet. If you have the benefit of averaging in, like if you've got a lot of dry powder, maybe you could like ease your way into a long with Doge, but just be careful, because if this trend line breaks, this rising trend, there could be a pretty sharp and fast correction off this overall move up. But yeah, it's awesome to see Doge back above 25 cents. I think it almost came up and tested 27 recently in the last few hours. If Bitcoin manages to perform well today, because it performed well yesterday, we know that. We just got the close for that candle. It went up like, what, 4.5%, which is awesome. So it's looking good. We want to see Bitcoin get above 53K. That's what I want to see. And then that'll give Doge the permission, like the green light, to rally up beyond 30 cents. But yeah, I know that Tame was calling for a a bull trap at $52,000 for Bitcoin. Now, mind you, there is potentially, from what I see here, a rising wedge that Bitcoin is currently in. It's just tagged the top of the wedge here, and now we're peeling off the back of it. So just be careful. Today could end up being a red day, market-wide. You know, maybe some alts trade regardless of what Bitcoin's doing, but at least for Bitcoin, this could be a bit of a pullback, a correction day, because we have been going up for quite some time. But yeah, just play it as you see it, you know, and just use your stop losses, have your fail safes in place so that you don't lose substantial amounts of money. Just always know what you stand to lose when you enter a trade, and be prepared to lose that, because more often than not, you probably will get stopped out, but that's trading. Now, if you don't like all of that, if you don't like dealing with all the stress of stop losses and, you know, pullbacks and getting liquidated and all that, don't trade. Just stick with investing. Like, you know, like buy dips, and that's all you have to do. Because eventually, one day, whether it's 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, you're gonna get, you know, the market will appreciate in value again, you know, and those bags that you were once holding, if the past is anything to go by, will get filled and you'll go back into profit at some point. So it definitely sucks, because if you were intending to trade it and keep that money moving around, it's stuck and you have to wait for it to go back to profit, which ties your money up, and you know, you miss out on potential runs in other coins. So sometimes it is better to take profit, to take a small loss just to free your funds up so that you can ride something else that is moving. But yeah, I guess it's a double-edged sword, because if you do that too often, you're taking small hits again and again and again because you don't want to get stuck. And eventually what you'll do is you'll find that you've lost half your initial capital or whatever. You know, you're just gonna slowly bleed your account out. So all I can say is, if you're new to trading, there is a period of time that you have to get used to what you're doing. Like, it's like going through school. You can't be expected to be highly profitable from day one. Like, you have to learn the ropes. There's growing pains with trading. You have to learn the mistakes. But just see it as that. Like, don't let it stress you out. Don't let it make you quit, because it is all a learning experience. There is a huge learning curve to trading and, you know, investing in technical analysis. I'm still learning. I've been doing like analysis on and off since the start of 2018. So yeah, I still consider myself, like, you know, a bit of a novice. Like, I'm new to it. I'm by no means a professional. So yeah, there's a lot to learn. But, you know, if you can grasp the basics, that is enough. You know, if you have the basics down, that's enough to be profitable, I would say, for technical analysis and trading. So yeah. All right, I'm going to give my voice a bit of a rest, and I'm just going to keep it on Bitcoin, say on the 15-minute chart. This red resistance line is proving to be pretty tough at the moment. It's a tough cookie to crack, and we're pulling back, which is healthy. So don't lose faith in it just at this point. But yeah, we'll see. We'll just see how it goes. Maybe the hourly is a bit easier to follow, because you can see the context of where it came from and where it could pull back to. All right, enjoy the music, I guess.
Hey, thanks, Rick.
No worries. Thanks for tuning in, man. The stream's gonna be up all day as usual, all night, all day, and yeah, just keep an eye on it. And I apologize in advance if you hear sounds like from me playing a game, because that's what I tend to do when the chart's just moving and there's nothing really to talk about. I'll just play video games or play my guitar or whatever. And you're welcome, YouTube. Thanks for tuning in. Smash the like button, hit subscribe, all that good stuff. All right.
Hey, Scott Azoki, are you still there? So I don't know if Scott's still there, but we were talking earlier. Anyway, that what I was hoping to hit is that 52,966 is that upper resistance. But I also had a channel that I was following before where we were about 50,300. A horizontal channel, not a diagonal channel, but a horizontal channel that we were kind of feeding between 50,300 and the 48,100 and change. And anyway, we went up to test the 52,966. We didn't quite make it. We actually hit a horizontal trend line that I had that was a little bit lower than that. We went up there and tested that and kind of bounced off of it. And I'm hoping that when we come back down to retest a little bit, we bounce off that last resistance channel that I had that was 50,300. And if we can do that, then I'm thinking tomorrow is going to be another better day. You know, we had a better day today, and I'm hoping we get another better day tomorrow. Anybody else have thoughts on that? Okay, everybody's kind of hanging back a little bit. That's cool. I'm gonna stick around a little bit longer. It's getting to be a little bit late here, but I'll hang out a little bit longer. But if anybody wants to talk about their favorite coin or just give some TA on what they think's going on, and maybe their favorite coin or whatever, I'll be here for a little while longer. Thanks. actually, or if somebody wants to talk about strategy or what they've been trading or how they've been trading lately, or how I've been trading, or any ideas on how to trade. If you want to talk about that too, that'd be awesome. Yeah, I see it a lot of new subscribers on YouTube. I see you guys are subscribing. And hit that like button, support Rick's channel. He does some pretty good stuff and gives a great TA, and more than willing to answer some questions. Hit that like button.
84 Doge now. You can just
Hector, I see you. What are you trading right now? Is anybody in here still on Discord? I see a bunch of muted mics, but is anybody still sitting around? What are you guys trading right now? What do you like? What do you don't like? What exchanges are you trading on? Let's just keep Discord going. We'll stop the dead air and just kind of everybody talk a little bit about what you got going on right now. Okay, I'm gonna hang a little bit longer, but if anybody has a question or wants to talk about something, you can shoot me a DM. I'm sure if you shoot Rick one, he'll get back to you. I'm gonna hang out a little bit longer, but if nobody really has any questions or wants to talk about anything, then I'm gonna get chill and hang out with the wife a little bit before we go to bed. But I'll hang out as long as you guys want to. If you guys, anybody wants to speak up, talk a little bit about what they're trading or who they're trading with, or questions or what they got going on, then I'm here for a little bit longer, maybe 5 more minutes, and then we'll see what happens. Thanks. Also, like I said earlier, I see a lot of subscribes on YouTube. If you subscribed and you haven't liked Rick's channel, go ahead and like Rick's channel. If you've got some questions, maybe I can help, maybe I can't help, but I'd love to talk to you about questions. If you have any questions on YouTube, I'll love to try to field some of those too. Thanks. Hey, Clive, good to see you. Clive, what are you trading today? Okay, well, I'm gonna take a break. I see maybe on Bitcoin, I see it like a little descending wedge, maybe a bull flag, but maybe a little descending wedge. Hopefully that breaks up. I'm hoping that if we still, trade above that horizontal trend that I had, with the resistance being 50,300, which is our new support, and then our old resistance being 48,123. I'm hoping we stay above that, and we'll see what tomorrow turns out like. Hopefully it's a new day, and we continue to see what we saw today, and we move on up. But I haven't heard much since Ray got off, so hope everybody has a great night. Hope you guys all have a good night of trading, good day of trading tomorrow, and I'll check in with you guys tomorrow afternoon. Have a good night.
My apologies. Power cord disconnected. So what was everybody up to today? Are you waiting tonight? Been watching crypto all day. What you guys been up to?
Clive, what are your thoughts? I tried to hit you up a while ago. I don't know if you just didn't hear me or
No,
me or what's going on.
My computer plug, computer became unplugged. So I had to reboot. Now, what were you discussing?
Rick ran through pretty much all the cryptos on his watch list, and then we were talking about Bitcoin, the way it kind of rallied today and kind of went up, and then it kind of hit that angular resistance and kind of dipped back down a little bit. We're still above the horizontal what we say resistance earlier at 50,300. We're still above that, so that's good. And we kind of bounced off that angular resistance that was up around 52,000. So we're still above that. We're still kind of trending between those, so that's still good. But no, I was asking what you traded today, what you were up to today, and what you were in the middle of.
I sold some Bitcoins. Sold 3 Bitcoin, as I said, at $49,998. Other than that, I bought, of course, I shorted Robinhood yesterday, and I bought Facebook. Did very well with it.
Yeah, with all the news around Facebook, I don't think it would be. I think you're right. I don't think it would be a bad time to get into Facebook. Yeah.
Facebook is not going away. Everything that's going on Facebook happens on every social media platform.
No, I don't think it's going away. And anytime you have some bad news and they take a little bit of a dip, man, I would hop on that.
Sure, I do all the time. I've Facebook for easily a decade or so. Up, down, back, forth. It is like Bitcoin. Now, basically, as you know, starting is just not for me. It only tells me when to get in and when to get out during the day. But Bitcoin's here to stay. Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ethereum. That's all I would play. If you're an investor. I got really pissed at the Implicit channel left.
Well, I agree with you about Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ethereum. I'm in all of those, and anytime you get any bad news and they take a little bit of dip on any of those, I would say if you got any spare money laying around, that'd be a good time to get into it.
Well, Static and I got into it. He's just an ass, and I don't like his TA. I don't like his philosophy on trading.
Yeah, I mean, some people are just overwhelming.
I can't hear him.
I wouldn't call out any single person. You know, I've heard a lot of good things from Static. I've heard some things that I don't agree with. I wouldn't necessarily call him out on it, but some things that I'm
called me out.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't call anyone out. I'm just saying, you know, sometimes I hear things I don't agree with, and I just let it go, you know, because I don't agree with it. Talking about
I called you out for being rude, Clive. You were, and it wasn't just me. It wasn't just me that perceived that. I went into his channel today, and I was talking about how I kind of felt bad, and everybody was like, "No, it had to be said. Clive's been acting like that all week." So it wasn't just I that perceived that. I do apologize to you if I put you on the spot and made you feel bad, but I felt you were being rude.
It does put me on the spot because I disagree with a lot of your trading style, and I think it's bad for people to constantly put more bags in at higher amounts, etc.
Oh, so let me ask you something. I know it was probably an embarrassing moment, and that's part of the ire towards me. But you know, here I am giving TA. I've been asked to give TA. I'm giving TA. I'm up to the plate. It's my turn. My screen is up, not yours, and I'm giving TA. And then you interrupt me to say that you don't believe in Elliott, or that you don't believe in Wyckoff. When I'm not even talking about Wyckoff, I'm talking about Elliott. I was talking about Elliott waves.
I said, is that ABC Wyckoff? I'm not a chartist, okay? But I do not like Elliott. Even Elliott has come out and say that basically.
Well, then you can't have it both ways. If you're not a charter and you don't do the charts and you don't follow the charts, and that's not what you do, then I'm not sure where your ground is to say that you don't think that that's right or wrong.
I didn't say charts were wrong. I said I don't do them, except I can't analyze them. But I think charts on that time frame, for like, we talk 30 minutes on what Doge is going to do the next 10 minutes.
So if you don't analyze charts,
no, I didn't say. I never said I don't analyze.
You just said I can't analyze charts. If you can't analyze charts, then how can you bring an argument to the table about analyzing a chart?
I didn't say I don't analyze charts. I'm not a chartist. I'm a fundamentalist.
Right, and you won't hear me interrupting you about fundamentals because I'm not a fundamentalist. I'm not a Warren Buffett.
I don't want to
go in,
continue.
Look at a business, figure out what's good, what's bad. It's not what I do. I just do charts. So I respect you if you're into the fundamentals of a business, which it sounds like you are, and I've heard you talk. You seem very knowledgeable. Then yeah, I take you at your word on that. Simply because I don't have the skill set in that department, fundamentals, to come and challenge you.
Yeah, I'm not going to enter in you guys' debate, but I would love to hear anyone's opinion on fundamentals or charts, just so I can learn from it. But no, I wouldn't take an opinion on it. I would love to hear it. I would not take an opinion on it because I'm just here to learn.
So anyway, that being said, I came to apologize to you. I do feel bad to put you on blast last night. I just felt that you were rude, and I'm not going to change my opinion of that. I do still feel you were rude, and that's when someone's rude to me, I'm not very good at just letting it happen. I call them out on it. That's all I did. I don't think I attacked you back. I called you out on it, and I waited for the YouTube stream to end before I addressed the issue with you. Yes, I did address that issue in front of a group of people on voice chat, but I made sure to not do it on YouTube. So I hope at a minimum you respect that. Okay, and I guess like a child, he has deafened his ears so he can't hear. Okay, cool.
But that's
So
true.
Now we know.
Was true.
Now we know Clive is not only rude but immature. Cool. All right. Well, I came to apologize, and there you have it. Microphones and earphones are deaf.
They did say in Piscat's servers that sometimes he turns off his mic and forgets.
No, we were just mid-conversation. He clearly muted because he didn't want to hear me anymore, apparently.
Oh, okay, I just hopped on here.
But I don't know what the argument or the disagreement was about, but Static, you care to give your opinion on what you guys were talking about?
Static was totally professional the way he handled it and kept his cool. I'm sorry, I'm interjecting.
No, to interject, there have to be two people talking, and Clive has taken his ball and gone home. So, no, you can speak.
Yeah, but he was totally bitchy. I mean, just bitch, back and forth at everyone. And finally, someone said something to him. So thank you for doing it. And now he's being a little bitch.
No, but London, I was referring to what Static's TA was, or what his perspective was that maybe started the whole thing, or maybe what your insight was, Static.
I mean, the TA last night was we were about to pump, and it was based on Elliott waves. So maybe Clive, the fundamentalist, should listen to the charter.
Yeah, he's calling it by a different name and interrupting you every single sentence, dropping names and how much money he has and all that shit. We don't care about that.
Yeah, but respectively, Static, were you talking about Doge, or were you talking about Bitcoin, or what were you guys talking about?
We were talking about Bitcoin at the time.
Okay, sorry.
Regardless, you had to be there. Actually, if you go to Piscat's channel and look at last night's video, go to about the last 10 minutes, I think, before we cut stream, and you can see the entire interaction. And like I said to Clive, and you heard it, Oki, short of maybe embarrassing him by when he interrupted me saying he doesn't believe in Wyckoff, and I said, well, that's great because it's the Elliott wave I'm talking about. I did intentionally wait until the stream ended to really take him on blast. because I didn't want to do it on YouTube. That, I think, is why he's the most upset with me. But I mean, yeah, from what my experience with Clive in this room and in other rooms, and particularly in Piskets lately, is he is a cerebral bully. He thinks because he has some moniker of intelligence that he can talk down to people that don't have that same level or skill set. And he apparently likes to feel important by dropping names, dropping numbers in terms of quantity of fiat that he's working with, his pedigree in terms of his ancestors and his history and the family and this and that. And it's like, dude, if you honestly were a $50 million hedge fund manager, you wouldn't be hanging out with us for 9.5 hours a day, you know, trying to make yourself feel good by making other people feel, you know, lesser. So to me, he's a little bit of a bully trying to make himself feel good by making others not. He's kind of rude, and I basically finally had enough and took him to task. Anyway, that's my TA on Clive. I rest my case.
I get that. What was your TA on Bitcoin?
You can go hear it. Basically, it said that I thought that we completed a ABC retracement and that we were about to start leg one of a new pump, which if this is leg one, the resistance we are hitting right now would be the end of leg one. We would retrace on a leg two, and then we would go up again for leg three, which would take us above and beyond. And if it is in fact a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Elliott wave that we're starting a fresh one, we're probably going to higher highs in the 65K. Also, if you look at the weekly, I posted it on my Instagram today. If you look at the weekly, it appears to be forming a bullish rounding slanted cup and handle on the weekly that if it does break out according to the math, which is basically breakout point roughly 51K plus the height and the high and the low times 61%, blah, blah, this whole formula, it basically has a potential to go as high as 72K. That doesn't mean it's gonna go to 72K, but it can go as high based on the math, as high as 72K.
So for like the last 7 hours, we've held above that 51K. Do you think that's a good indicator? Even though we're pulling back a little bit, we're sitting at about 51.2 right now, but we went up quite a bit higher than that. We were pushing the 52 whatever, and it looked like we were gonna go on back up to the almost 53,000 and then continue on. We pulled back a little bit from there. Do you think that we're pulling back a little bit today, and then maybe tomorrow we're going to head back on up there, or what's your thoughts?
Well, so I can't predict that, but what I can tell you is there's 3 scenarios on my charts. Scenario 1, we basically continue to yeet up and then come back down and find a 50K support floor, and then we go up again to test all-time highs. Scenario 2, we get kind of hard rejected here. We go back down to 45K, find support there, go back up again, and this time we do blast through this 50K barrier on our way to higher highs. Scenario 3, we get rejected here and we come tumbling down all the way back down to 39K. And if that happens, then it's like a 50-50. So if the first 2 scenarios happen, we shoot straight up. Second scenario, we drop back to 45, then we shoot up. Those 2 scenarios are extremely bullish. We're going high. And I don't mean like 58, I mean like above 65. But if the third scenario happens and we just get like a kind of like a flash crash where it just all of a sudden gets smacked down, then we probably, in that third scenario, tumble to like 39K. And then we probably spend another like month or two just going fucking sideways.
I kind of agree with that. After the last flash crash, we were kind of in the sideways trend between about 48.1 and about 50,300, and then we had the flash crash, and then we kind of broke back up into that. October 4th, I think it was. We kind of got back into that 48,100. We kind of traveled between there, and here we are above the 50,300. And I was hoping we were headed back up to the 52.9 or whatever is where we were hoping to get it back above the last previous high. And we got pretty close to it, got back up to kind of reach it, and kind of bounced off a diagonal trend line. And I'm hoping tomorrow to see us go back up to the 52.966, I think. We may be back off to the races. Yeah, we may be back off to the races if we get to that 52.966 again. But if not, maybe we'll trade sideways for a few days. Just kind of have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah, however we do it, I think at least what I see on my charts is very bullish for October. I sold like 10% of my bag on Doge today at like 26.2. And my plan is to not reinvest it in Doge until maybe if it retraces to like 23. I'm gonna probably scale in from like 23 through like 205. No guarantees I'll even get that back in. But
yeah, you may not. It may not go back down there. I told Rick earlier, it was about a month and a day ago, I took an exit on a position of Doge at about, it was 30, I think it was 3004 and some change. And I took an exit there. It was a month and a day ago to the day. And I'm just kind of waiting for it to drop back down a little bit, fall back into that channel just between 16 and 20, and then maybe go back up from there. But it all really depends. In my mind, it depends on what happens with Bitcoin the next couple of days. We kind of broke above this horizontal trend that I had from about a month ago. Sorry, push stock. It broke above where we were about a week, 2 weeks ago. And if we can hold above that and continue on, then I think Doge is going to do something pretty nice. So we'll see. If not, then I'll hold out for that 16 to 20 cent range on Doge and get back in.
sounds plausible to me. Okay, Slayer, it was nice chatting with you and meeting you. Sorry you had to witness that whole thing between me and Clive. I'm glad you did, though. So there's a witness to the conversation. You may be called to testify in court.
Hey, it's all good. I mean, we all have our own ideas. We all have our own TA. Sometimes there are disagreements. Sounds like you guys, I wasn't there for that one, but it sounds like you guys had a little more than just a disagreement. But hey, you know, it's what it is, and we're all here. Hopefully everybody stays in the Discord and we continue on. So, hey, thanks for being here.
Yeah, no problem, brother. All right, talk to you guys. I'm going back to my Discord.
Anybody else before I take another break? Anybody else have any TA or anything they want to talk about? Okay, everybody have a good night. I'll check in again tomorrow. Hope everybody has good trades tomorrow. See you later.